Oh, good afternoon. Here we are again, and the five some of us. We're here to at the wellness gathering. I always forget, taking responsibility for our well-being through the principles of core alignment. And Lynn is going to challenge us with some more deep thoughts.
Deep thoughts. We are really working on what we are working on is neurolinguistic practices. A lot of this work is based in the languages that the way we use our words and deeper processes on that. So we're going to be looking at what they call the wizard process. And we're going to start with a question. And the question that we are starting with today is, well, and I think we're all familiar with The Wizard of Oz. I know I am. It was one of my very first books, was reading The Wizard of Oz. And so The Wizard of Oz, there's, Dorothy, and there's Toto, her faithful companion. There's the lion, the Tin Man, the lion that was sort of cowardly, and the Tin Man with no heart, and the Scarecrow with no brain. So our question for today is, which character do you think you would be where you're at in your life right now? So my name is Lynne, and I am in Calgary, Alberta. And lately, well, what's been coming up, I feel like I'm more the lion, sort of the cowardly lion, looking for a little bit of courage to keep going and keep doing what I'm doing. However, like if I were to have asked myself that question a month ago, I would have said I was the Tin Man, because I really didn't felt like I was looking for my heart. So anyways, which character do you think you would be? Lorraine?
I'd be Dorothy. Oh, I'm Lorraine. I'm from Wassa, British Columbia. I would be Dorothy.
Okay, awesome.
No, I
All
don't.
right.
I can't relate to Tin Man or Yeah, I'd be Dorothy, trying to find my way around.
Awesome. And so what
Solve
would make you
problems.
pick Dorothy?
Well, I think she was a problem solver,
Oh,
wasn't
God.
she? Wasn't she sort of a problem solver? She was always
Yeah.
looking for the way home.
Yeah. Exactly. How about you, Madeline?
I'm Madeline. I'm in Calgary, Alberta. I'm going to say right now, I'm going to say the wizard behind the curtain, because I really like being fairly anonymous. I like the idea of magic and making things seem different than what they are. And I really like conspiracies. So that kind of puts me behind the curtain, I think.
I got it. How about you, Ola?
So this is a tough one. My name is Olive. I'm in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and the first thing came to my mind was I am that old lady riding her bicycle in the windstorm. We've just had a big Saskatchewan windstorm yesterday, and I feel like that was me.
Awesome. Awesome. How about you, Dawn Marie?
I'm Dawn Marie, and I'm from Sacramento, California. And I feel like I would be the Scarecrow. I feel like I'm looking like I know what I'm doing, but I have all this straw coming out of me that's got me pulled in many different directions.
Oh, that's cool. So we have a whole cast of characters here today. How cool is that? And what we're going to be doing with this, with our time today, is really looking at more at the guards and gatekeepers through this analogy of the Wizard of Oz, and looking at and exploring how we handle stressful situations in our life. And we also want to become more familiar with hearing our guards, our other people's statements, and our gatekeepers, those strong I statements. So how might the character that you picked in The Wizard of Oz impact the area of your life that you're working on right now? So I'll go first. I know that the reason I picked the lion was I feel like my work is always my work is always challenging me, and sometimes I feel like I need courage to keep going. You know, I get invited to step out in ways that I'm really fundamentally not comfortable with, and so I think that's how, you know, I think that's how it's impacting me right now, is that I just have to be courageous and just keep going. How about you, Madeline?
I would say I'm slow. Usually I'm pretty slow to make decisions and slow to react. Like it takes me a while to have something impact me. And that I think is why I choose to be behind the curtain, because I need time. I just need the time. And that makes me good at some things and really not good at other things, like coming up with an answer right away. It's like I don't have that capacity. I need time to think about it. So there's sometimes it can be a problem.
Got
And
it.
sometimes it can be really good. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. How about you, Dawn Marie?
Well, as the scarecrow who stands up and looks like they know what they're doing to scare the crows away, I'm feeling a bit not overwhelmed, but I just left a meeting and she gave me so much information. Not that it's overwhelming, because I feel like I've got my foot in the door to knowing what I'm doing, but it's just like, which one do I start with first? You know, so I'm like trying to not lose all of my brains and be scattered all over the place and doing nothing, but I want to really stay focused and make sure that I check off the things that I know that are important for me to do.
Got it. Got it. Thank you. Olive?
Well, I think that character in The Wizard of Oz turns into the Wicked Witch eventually, doesn't she? I'm
maybe the good witch, or the witch
yeah,
that
I'm not sure which witch she ends up being, but yeah, I don't want to be the witch, but I feel like I'm going against the wind sometimes.
got it. Got it. How about you, Lorraine?
Well, being Dorothy and her determination to find her way home, it resonates with me because often my dreams, I'm always trying to find my way out of a department store or a street, and it's in Regina somewhere, and I can't get home, and there's snow, and then there's floods, and then there's mud and people, and so I think it's in right now it's problem solving and trying to just gear down to focus on what I said I'd like to do, but in order to the choices I make, I had to feel comfortable in within myself about doing that. So that's the way it is.
Cool. Very cool. Okay. Yeah. So, well, when you think of some of the areas of your life, you know, or a recent time where you felt highly stressed, or just bring up one that you might have felt a little bit more stressed or highly emotional.
Oh, God.
Okay, you go first, seeing you're laughing.
I have had many highly stressed events in my life, and they range from fighting with a golf club, hitting that ball into a hole, my sewing machine, and then I was just reminded the other day of my reaction to somebody that took down a poster that I so carefully designed and put up for an event. And I can still feel the emotion of those events deep inside me. I exploded.
Awesome. How about you, Madeline?
Sorry, just say the question again.
Well, just think of a time, you know, recently that you might have had a highly emotional situation,
Okay.
or share it. Yeah.
I mean, just really usually I wait it out. I don't react at the time.
Is there a time that comes to mind?
In a vehicle with someone driving aggressively because they were mad. Not aggressively, like not to hurt us, but aggressively, like not the way I drive. And so I just, just hold my tongue, basically. But then we get to talk about it later. So riding, if I felt like I was in danger, I would say stop the car and get out of the vehicle. But it wasn't like that. It was just riding out impatience. So I'm usually, not one to stir the pot. I wait it out and then have a conversation. So I don't know if that's kind of, I don't know.
That's totally.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Just
good.
wanting, just a something.
Yeah,
How about you?
something recently.
You have one that.
Okay.
Olive?
I haven't had any real stressful situations lately. I did start teaching a new exercise class Friday, and it was at a different location, a different type of people, and some of them wanted to challenge me a bit. But it was an exercise class, and I'm not getting paid to teach it. So I just thought, okay, whatever happens, happens.
Got it. Thank you. Dunree?
Well, I just had an experience last week where I had to round up the members of my Toastmasters Club to get them to vote for new officers. And I emailed them all of the names, I emailed them the ballot, but there was one role that 2 people were running for. And so when I sent out the ballot, I got several responses from people saying, I take the ballot just as it is. I count me in. This is my vote. I'm like, can you read the email and see that there's 2 people running for the same position, that you need to select one or the other? Oh my gosh, I could not believe the time I had to spend with resending the email, re-explaining to people. And then at the last minute, one person sent in her vote the day of the meeting, and we're already tallying up the votes. And she says, I check off everybody. Oh my gosh.
That's such a good story for these guards and gatekeepers. Hey, can you hear them?
You know what? I kept my cool. I didn't blow up. I didn't get into an argument about what I had done. I just said, oh, Lord. I'm glad I'm getting the training that I'm getting. They need it.
It's fascinating. Hey, like, I know one came up for me yesterday. We had a family reunion gathering of my husband's family, and there was that awkward moment towards the end of the evening where clearly the people's house that we were at, they were ready for the entourage of us Hildermans, which was how many of us? 8 of us, because all the partners came, like my kids with their partners plus Carrie and I, and there was this uncomfortable, it was clearly time to go home. But my husband, who, he wants to spend time with his sister and family, and I finally just said, I think we need to leave, and it just took this, I had to sit in this uncomfortable, like, oh my God, like they're all overwhelmed, all of us there. And all of us, or at least my kids and my husband, are all just kind of hanging around, wanting to be with them. And it's like, maybe it's time for us to go. So, but it took me a lot of courage to kind of just finally say, it's time to go home. I have to work tomorrow, was sort of my strong guard statement. It's like, I need to go home. You guys might not need to, but I do. I didn't say it like that, but that's how I was feeling. So anyways, so when you look at these simple situations and you, you know, kind of hear the words of your conversations with the people that were in your situations, or the words that you might have shared, you know, about how you felt about the situation and what you thought about what you shared or didn't share. You know, what are some of the guard statements that you kind of hear yourself saying, like, you always, you know, people always, those types of things? How about you, Madeline? We'll start with you.
You know, I think I lean toward more I statements than you, because it's that I was triggered, so that
Right.
it becomes
What about some
my,
they statements, they or them?
well, they or them is what perhaps happened in the past for me
Okay.
to have been triggered. So
Got
they, you know, they were in my youth, these experiences, they were erratic. And so that is a trigger for me. That, you know, to get around that kind of explanation. Right.
Got it. Yeah. How about you, Lorraine?
Well, my experience that I shared happened so long ago. With the person that took down the poster. I I'm semi-friendly with her. Thank goodness we don't live in the same area. But it was certainly a they and a her statement. And I was annoyed because I got so angry at her for doing that evil thing. The sewing machine and the golf club didn't talk back to me. But so
Yeah.
that was more an I thing. I'm just not good at that, and I'm not in the mood to do this. So
Got it.
anyway.
Yeah, cool. How about you, Dawn Marie?
I would say they are the ones who did not follow through, and I really had to keep telling myself to not take it personally. This is not about me. I did what I was supposed to do. They need to really, you know, take responsibility for their stuff. And I really tried hard to not keep my cool, but it kept bubbling up on the inside of me, wanting to say something. But I knew if I said something, it was going to cause a lot of confusion, and it would have been a lot more for me to repair had I said something, as opposed to me just not taking it personally. I did what I was supposed to do. It's on them. So I was able to keep myself in that state of mind to not, you know, go there with them, because the other side of it would have been much worse.
Got it. Emotional wisdom.
Yeah.
Becoming emotionally wise.
Mhm.
How about you, Olive?
Well, the situation I described, I think it was they were used to things being done a certain way. And they are all people of a certain age. And once you get to be in that age group, you don't like change. And they didn't want change. I wanted to do things my way. They wanted to do things their way. And so we compromised.
Got it. Got it. Cool.
One of the things they never do is play music during their exercise class.
Whoa.
And I love music during my exercise class. So we compromised. We played it at the beginning for the warm-up part of the. Only one person went home, so it all worked out.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And so what about some of the I statements that you notice yourself saying?
Me? Or are you going to do
well, yeah,
round?
we'll start. Yeah, we're going to do a round of I statements.
Okay.
Just to.
And
Yes.
you want me to start then?
Sure, yeah.
My I statement, I guess, was that I compromised and I said, we'll try it this way. And if you really don't like it, let me know. And next week we'll do it differently.
Got it. Yeah. How about you, Dawn Marie?
Could you repeat the question?
Well, just looking at your, some of the, reflecting on some of the I statements, some of the, the really, the words that, usually the strong I statements, that you noticed yourself saying in this situation.
I would have said, I always, keep what I want to say to myself and not let it out to the other people. So therefore, I feel like I'm carrying around the burden of what other people should have been doing. So for me, it is, I should be more outspoken, but using wisdom when I do it.
Got it. Thank you. How about you, Madeline?
Well, I think I already said, the I felt triggered, and that recognizing it was really good, because, it kind of puts you as someone standing outside and looking in, and also to keep it in the realm of calmer waters when it was a calmer time to do it, I think shows some assertiveness and some wisdom. So it didn't blow up at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Did I ask you,
Me?
Lorraine?
No,
Yeah.
I'm
Go.
just trying, the I statements that I reflected on, the incidents that I mentioned, is that I acknowledged some deep anger and frustration and stress, but I've learned to deal with that now. And I'm finding myself pulling, just not letting it bother me anymore. And so it's been a real eye opener to know that I had that kind of anger bubble it up so quickly that everybody was, oh. But it's taken years to just say, oh, it doesn't bother me anymore. It's the hell, it's not worth my while.
Yeah. It's interesting with anger. And I heard this just in the last month, that it was, what if the anger and the frustration that you're feeling is actually potency as opposed to anger? It's the potency to make a change. It's the potency to not tolerate a certain situation. It's, it's the potency that's coming up that, okay, something's not right here. And it's just the energy's just coming up and wants to go out. So I've been finding that to look at that when I'm feeling frustrated, whether I'm just having more potency and it just wants some sort of avenue, and maybe I need to channel it into the things that are, working, and the things that I am putting my attention on that are projects that are expanding. So with all of these guards and gatekeepers, and looking at the character that you feel that you might have been in the Wizard of Oz, what is something that you can take away from today that would support you in making wiser choices? Lorraine?
Well, I think I feel that just I like making choices, but I really have to feel comfortable and not stressed. If I feel stressed and unsure, I have to sleep on it. I have to deal with what's stressing me and clear out all the things that are not resonating within me. And until I do that and talk to necessary parties if need be, and get it clear of where I stand and where they stand, or where I just don't do it. So I think I've learned a lot from just over the years, just to know how to solve the problems. And I think that's what Dorothy did very well.
There you go. How about you, Madeline?
I love that word potency. That's such a great word. It becomes, it morphs strong feeling into something that is useful. And that can be incredibly useful because sometimes you just don't know what to do with what you are feeling. And so if you have some direction for it, then it's way good. And I think that is useful to take away. So I like that a lot. Thank you.
Olive?
Mm. I like to deal with an issue on the spot. I feel if I dwell on it too long, it becomes a bigger issue.
Got it.
I'm not sure
That's
that's a good
cool.
thing or not.
Yeah, yeah, no. You know, it's amazing how many ways we can be, right? And what works, you know, like really so many tools.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. How about you, Dawn Marie?
Well, for me, I'd have to say I'd have to say the Tin Man, because, you know, it doesn't matter how many times you have to help someone to amend a situation. I think being the bigger person is what gives me the courage and the confidence, and to not take it personally, is to know that I gave it my best shot. And I always try and remain informed and remain in the loop, but not to be combative. I choose not to take the low road. And so for me, it's just making sure that I, you know, don't allow my armor to get dinged too much.
Got it. Awesome. So what will you take with you from today that will support you until we talk again? Lorraine?
What I think this has been an exciting scenario, and I've never thought of looking at characters in a movie to apply to yourself. So I'll take away from this conversation till we talk again is the creativity of it in our being to be a character in a movie, in a story.
Yeah. How about you, Madeline?
I agree. And it becomes, you know, not carved in stone. It shifts depending on where we are in life or depending on what we're doing. And I think it's quite fun to imagine just like, you know, what it would be like to take on the characteristic of another character, as it were, right? To just apply different emotions or different characteristics and just see where that goes. So it's a fun exercise.
Cool. Olive?
Well, I've been thinking if I remember the story right and that character does evolve into the witch, I don't ever want to get so angry that I have to release the flying monkeys.
Thank you.
How about you, Dawn Marie?
Well, what I would take away from this that will support me for until we meet again is I'm glad that I made it to be able to be on the call today. I was looking at the time and I was thinking, oh gosh, I got my 3 o'clock and it's 2:30, and you know, is she gonna finish in time, and yada yada yada. And I told myself that, you know what, just go with it. If you make it, you make it. If not, there'll be next week. And so I think about the characters in The Wizard of Oz is that, Dorothy never gave up. She was persistent on, getting down that yellow brick road and getting to, the castle or wherever she needed to get to find the pieces that she needed to complete her story. And so that's how I look at this. This process gets me to the point of helping me to complete my story in my life and being able to have these different little tidbits that I can apply to keep me moving forward and not, get off track. So I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah, it makes me want to watch the movie or read the book again.
Yeah, me too.
It's just like, oh my gosh. And these conversations are just such a blessing. And anyways, that's what I take. So what will you take with you that'll support you for the rest of your life, Madeline?
What I will take with me that will support me for the rest of my life is remembering the guards and the gatekeepers, that they are there to help us. They are not a deficiency. They are an augmentation, and to really honor them.
Lorraine?
What I'll take away to support me the rest of life, I just feel very blessed to be able to do this scenario, these practices, and it really keeps my energy up and my determination. And I really appreciate this, and I love it.
Olive?
Well, what I will take with me is the ending of the movie, where these characters all had within them the very things that they were in search of. They just had to realize it. That's what I will think
I
about.
just got goosebumps.
And I so want to watch that movie again.
All right, Marie.
I will take away from this that will support me for the rest of my life is just what Olive said, is that we all don't realize our capabilities of what we have on the inside of us. And if we just keep moving and applying some of the principles that we're gaining from this experience, we're going to be way above, way ahead of the crowd, because we're doing the work. So I appreciate that.
Yahoo.
Well, yeah, I take away just a tremendous amount of gratitude. So thank you for showing up and receiving and contributing and creating a better world, really.
Yeah.
I think we're creating a better world.
Yeah. Anyway, well, thank you a lot. Thanks a lot, Lynn. We're next Monday is July 1st, and here in Canada, Dawn Marie, we have, what is it, Canada Day?
Canada Day.
Supposedly, I mean, it might be called something else after a while. There's a little bit
We
of
could
political.
meet if everybody's in agreement. Did you want to meet, or
Yeah.
How many more?
game.
How many more classes do we have?
this? We have three more. No, we got 8, 9, and 10.
Well, I'm okay. This meeting next Monday.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm around.
Yep.
And as well.
Okay, let's
Oh,
meet
okay
next
then.
Monday.
Okay, we'll meet next
Okay.
Monday. Okay, well, thank you very much,
Wonderful.
and we will see you next
then.
week.
Okay.
Okay.